Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through all that noise and really get to the insights that can move the needle for you. You're probably swimming in metrics already, right? Trying to figure out which ones actually matter for unlocking growth. But what if there was this single lever, one that's often overlooked but could totally transform how your business operates? Make every marketing dollar, every single user visit work harder for you. Today, that's exactly what we're unpacking. We're doing a deep dive into customer conversion rate. You'll often hear it called CCR.
Yeah, and it really is a game changer. It's not just another number on a dashboard. For any business, really, but especially online, CCR is kind of the heartbeat of your strategy. It tells you pretty precisely how good you are at turning, curious visitors into actual committed customers. A high rate, that's great. It means your stuff resonates, your whole user journey is clear, compelling, basically frictionless. But a low rate, well, that's a big red flag. It's telling you there are barriers, maybe things you don't even see, stopping you from growing. Silent saboteurs, really.
Okay, silent saboteurs. I like that. So our mission today for this deep dive is to really pull back the curtain on CCR. We're going to explore its real power, maybe reveal some surprising things that could be quietly hurting it, and most importantly, give you some actual strategies, things you can do to boost it. We've taken a pretty comprehensive guide and boiled it down to the most potent insights, stuff you can hopefully put to work right away. All right, let's jump in then. When we talk about customer conversion rate, what are we really measuring? What's the core idea here beyond just, the number itself?
Right. What often gets missed is that it's not just about volume, not just traffic. It's about intent. It's about action. So at its core, CCR measures how effectively your business guides a visitor to complete a specific goal, something you want them to do. And this desired action, it's different depending on the business, right? For e-commerce, sure, it's usually making a purchase. Simple enough. But if you're a SaaS company, software as a service, it might be getting someone to sign up for a paid plan, content platform, maybe subscribing to a newsletter or creating an account, mobile apps. Often it's making an in-app purchase or maybe upgrading to the paid version. It's really that moment, that specific point where a user goes from just looking to actually doing something.
Browser to doer. I like that framing. That makes a lot of sense. So practically speaking, how do we calculate this? How do you figure out your own CCR?
It's actually surprisingly straightforward. The math isn't scary. The formula is basically you take the number of users who completed that specific action you want, divide that by the total number of users or visitors you had in that same period, and then just multiply by 100. That gives you the percentage. So, quick example. Say your website gets 10,000 visitors in a month. And out of those, 500 people make a purchase. Your CCR is 500 divided by 10,000 times 100, which is 5%. Simple math, but yeah, the insight is profound.
Okay, 5%. Got it. So we know what it is, how to calculate it. Now, the big question, the so what? Why should businesses, why should you listening, care deeply about this specific metric? What makes CCR such a big deal?
This is where it gets really interesting because CCR isn't just like a reporting number. It's a critical KPI, a key performance indicator. And it gives you these deep, actionable insights across your whole business. It's really powerful. So first off, it's a direct measure of your performance. Simple as that. A high rate generally means your product, your site, your app. It's hitting the mark. It's meeting user expectations, delivering value. Second, and this is huge, it helps you identify bottlenecks instantly. If your rate is low, it points directly to where people are dropping off in your process. It reveals the friction points, the issues you need to fix. Third, and this is often the real aha moment for businesses. Optimizing your CCR means you can generate more revenue without necessarily increasing your traffic or your ad spend. You're just getting more value from the visitors you already have. Think about that.
Oh, okay. That's potentially massive.
It really is. So many companies pour money into getting new eyeballs, right? When sometimes just a small improvement in converting the existing ones could, significantly boost profits. Fourth, it helps guide your decisions. Where should you put your resources? Better design, different marketing, new features. CCR data helps you decide that more effectively. And finally, number 5, it just enhances your customer insights overall. You learn so much about user behavior, what they like, what they don't, their pain points, just by watching how and if they convert.
That point about getting more revenue from existing traffic without more spend, that feels like the hidden gem here. Why do you think so many businesses seem to focus so much on just getting new traffic? What's the blind spot?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think acquisition often feels more tangible, more active, like you're growing because the top of funnel number is going up. It's kind of the sexier metric sometimes. But the truth is, it's often way cheaper and honestly more impactful long term To fix the leaks in your current process, your existing funnel, then just keep pouring more traffic in at the top, hoping some sticks.
Hmm.
Businesses often underestimate the combined effect of lots of small friction points, or they assume maybe the product isn't right when really it's the journey to buying or signing up for the product that's the problem. They just overlook the audience that's already knocking on the door.
The leaky bucket analogy.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's talk more about those leaks, these silent saboteurs you mentioned.
Yeah.
What are the common culprits? What things are quietly eroding conversion rates for businesses, maybe without them even realizing it?
Exactly. And often these are things that on their own might seem small, but together they have a huge negative impact. A low CCR, it usually means something about your platform, your app, your website. It's just not quite clicking with what users expect or need. So let's break down some of the big factors. First up is definitely user experience, UX. We're talking things like a cluttered design, confusing navigation, just making it hard for people to find what they need or understand what to do next, makes them want to leave. And here's a stat from the research that's kind of mind-blowing. Slow page load speed, it's a killer. Even a 1-second delay, that can slash conversions by up to 7%.
7% for 1 second. Wow.
Yeah, think about your own behavior, right? How quickly do you bounce from a slow site? And then there's mobile. Over half, more than 50% of web visits globally are on mobile devices now. So if your site isn't smooth, easy to use, fast on a phone, you're basically alienating half your potential audience right from the start. That's not just a missed opportunity, it's like actively damaging your potential. Okay, beyond UX, think about your value proposition. Is it clear? Instantly. If users land on your page and don't immediately get what's in it for them, how you solve their specific problem, why would they stick around, let alone convert? And closely related is trust. Lack of trust signals is another big one. You need things like customer reviews, easily visible secure payment badges, clear return policies. Without those, people get nervous.
So you need to make them feel safe and understand the benefit quickly.
Exactly. Then you've got the call to action, your CTA. If the button or link is hard to see, if it uses really generic words like just submit, instead of something action-oriented like get started now or claim your discount, or if it's just, poorly placed on the page, you're basically not giving them a clear invitation to take that next step. Pricing and the payment process itself, oh, this is a minefield. Hidden fees that suddenly appear at the last second, huge turnoff. Unclear pricing, same problem. And a long, complicated checkout process, especially one that forces you to create an account before you can even buy something.
Yeah.
That's notorious for killing conversions. High cart abandonment right there. Limited payment options can also be an issue. If you don't offer the way people want to pay, they might just go elsewhere.
Yeah, I've definitely abandoned carts because they wanted me to create an account first.
Right. It's so common. And sometimes the problem isn't even the site, it's audience targeting. Good question. It's a pretty logical 4-step process, really. Step 1, define your desired action. You have to be crystal clear. What specific action equals a conversion for your business? Is it a purchase, a sign up, a download? Define it first. Step 2, collect the data. You need tools for this. Google Analytics is kind of the standard for websites or apps or SaaS platforms. Tools like Mixpanel or Amplitude are great. They track your total users and how many complete that specific action you defined. Step 3, apply the formula, just like we talked about. Number who did the action total users by 100. Calculate that rate. And step 4, this is where you get the deeper insights. Segment the data. Don't just look at the overall number. Break it down. Look at CCR by traffic source. Did they come from Google search, a Facebook ad, an email link? Look at it by device type, mobile versus desktop, by user demographics if you have that data.
Yeah.
This segmentation, it tells you where your conversions are working well and where they're weak. And that's absolute gold for knowing where to focus your optimization efforts.
Segmentation sounds key. And you mentioned some tools there, Google Analytics, Mixpanel. Are there other specific tools you'd really recommend folks look into for tracking and for actually optimizing CCR?
Yeah, absolutely. So Google Analytics is definitely the workhorse for website tracking, setting up goals for purchases, form fills, things like that. If you're more in the app or SaaS world, Mixpanel or Amplitude give you that really granular user behavior tracking, letting you map out user journeys in detail. Now, for understanding how people are actually interacting with your pages, like where are they clicking, where are they getting stuck, Hotjar is fantastic. It gives you heat maps, session recordings. You can literally watch anonymized user sessions. It's incredibly eye-opening for finding friction points when you're ready to test changes. Optimizely, or VWO, Visual Website Optimizer, are leaders in A/B testing platforms. They let you easily test different versions of a page, different headlines, button colors, layouts to see what performs better. And if you want to tie it all back to your marketing campaigns and customer relationships, something like HubSpot offers great tools for tracking conversions from specific campaigns and integrating that with your CRM.
Okay, brilliant. So we've got the what, the why, the how to measure, and the tools. Now let's get to the really actionable part. For listeners thinking, right, I want to improve this, what are the concrete strategies? What can they actually do to turn more of those visitors into customers?
This is where we get practical. It's all about systematically finding and removing those barriers, those friction points we talked about. Let's maybe focus on 3 core areas that tend to give you the biggest bang for your buck. First, optimize the user journey. Really streamline how people move through your site or app. That means simplifying navigation. Clear menus are essential, good search functionality. Breadcrumbs maybe, so people always know where they are, don't make them think too hard. And as we discussed, tackle page load speed. Seriously, compress those images, use browser caching, maybe look into a CDN, a content delivery network, which basically stores copies of your site closer to users globally, making it load faster for them.
Okay, so for someone listening who maybe isn't super technical, what's the absolute first easiest thing they could do for page speed, like today?
Good point. Check your image sizes. Honestly, people often upload huge photo files without realizing it, using a free online tool to compress your images before uploading them. That alone can make a massive difference, and it's usually pretty easy to do. After that, maybe check your website hosting plan. Many offer simple caching options you can just switch on. But back to the journey, nail the mobile experience. Responsive design is non-negotiable. Test it on different phone sizes. Make sure buttons are easy to tap. And streamline that checkout. Offer a guest checkout option. Don't force account creation if you don't absolutely need it. Cut down the number of form fields. Ask only for what's essential. And use progress indicators. Show people step 1 of 3, step 2 of 3. It reduces anxiety. Okay, second core area. Build trust and communicate value. Super important. Start by really strengthening your value proposition. Make it crystal clear on your main pages, your landing pages, your product pages, how you solve the user's problem, what's the benefit for them. Then, social proof. You need to leverage it heavily. Display customer reviews prominently. Show off testimonials. Use case studies if you have them. Add trust badges, security seals, industry awards, whatever applies. People trust other people more than they trust marketing copy. And offering clear guarantees can help too. Think money-back guarantees, free trial periods. These reduce the perceived risk for the user, making it easier for them to commit.
Right, so it's not just having good reviews hidden somewhere, it's making them obvious, like front and center.
Absolutely. Think of them as validation right when the person is making a decision. They need to be easily visible, almost unmissable at key moments. Okay, and the third core area, testing and personalization. This is ongoing. Start with your calls to action. Make those CTAs pop. Use contrasting colors. Make the buttons big enough. Put them in logical, prominent places. And use action-oriented language. Instead of submit, try get your free guide, or start your trial today, or shop the collection. Tell them what they'll get. The absolute key here, though, is A/B testing. Constantly test variations, test button text, test colors, test placement. See what your specific audience responds to best. Don't just guess. Beyond the CTAs themselves, work on personalizing the journey. Can you segment your audience? Show different messages or offers to new visitors versus returning customers. Use dynamic content, if possible, like showing product recommendations based on what they've looked at before. And definitely use retargeting ads for people who visited but didn't convert. Gently remind them later, maybe with a special offer via ads on other sites they visit. You need to be continually A/B testing broader things too. Page layouts, headlines, maybe even different pricing presentations, and always be analyzing where people drop off. Use those funnel analysis tools in Google Analytics or Mixpanel, see the leaks, then try to fix them. Sometimes you might even need to survey users who abandon, ask them why. Their answers can be incredibly revealing. It's really a continuous cycle. Analyze, hypothesize, test, learn, repeat.
That's a really solid framework. Optimize the journey, build trust, test, and personalize. Makes sense. But, even with good intentions, people can still make mistakes. What are some of the common pitfalls, things listeners should actively try to avoid when they're working on their CCR?
Oh yeah, there are definitely some common traps. Number one is probably focusing only on driving more traffic. We talked about this. If your conversion process is flawed, more traffic just means more wasted clicks and higher bounce rates. Fix the leaks first. Second, ignoring mobile users. Still happens. Given that mobile is often more than half the traffic, neglecting that experience is just a massive own goal. It has to be seamless on mobile. Third, overcomplicating things. Making the sign-up process too long, asking for too much information up front, too many steps in the checkout. Simplicity almost always wins online. Keep it smooth and easy. Fourth pitfall, neglecting analytics. You can't optimize what you don't measure accurately. If you're not regularly digging into your data, seeing where the problems are, you're essentially flying blind, just throwing darts. And maybe a final one, don't just blindly copy your competitors. What works for their audience, their brand, their specific offer, it might not work for yours at all. Understand the principles, yes, but tailor the strategies to your unique context and your users. Test it for yourself.
Right, copying competitors blindly seems like a recipe for mediocrity at best. Those are really crucial warnings. Okay, to make all this really concrete, you have maybe a quick real-world example, a case study of a business that actually used these kinds of strategies and saw real results.
Yeah, I do. It's a pretty typical, relatable scenario. Think about an online clothing retailer. So this particular store, their conversion rate was stuck down at 2%. Industry average for clothing is often more like 3–5%, so they knew they were underperforming. And they also had a really high cart abandonment rate. People were adding stuff to the cart but not finishing the purchase. Lots of traffic, not enough sales. So they started digging into the data. First stop, Google Analytics. That showed them immediately a huge drop-off, like 60% was happening right on the payment page. Okay, where the problem was, but not why. That's when they brought in a tool like Hotjar. The heat maps and session recordings. They showed that users were getting confused and annoyed by a mandatory account creation step before checkout. Big friction point right there.
Right.
And then they did some simple user surveys too, asking people who abandoned why they left. And that confirmed the account issue, but also surfaced another major concern. People weren't feeling totally confident about payment security on the site. So, checkout friction and a trust issue.
Okay, so they pinpointed the problems. Forced account creation and security concerns at checkout.
Exactly. So their action plan became pretty clear, and they tackled several things at once. First, they added a guest checkout option. Big win for reducing friction. They also cut down the number of fields in the checkout form, just the essentials. To address the security fears, they made sure their SSL certificate was up to date and prominently displayed secure payment badges like Visa, MasterCard, PayPal logos, security lock icons right on the checkout page. Visual trust signals. They also did a pass to make sure the entire checkout flow was perfectly smooth and responsive on mobile devices. And they got into A/B testing the CTA button text. They tested something like complete purchase versus secure checkout now to see if emphasizing security in the button itself would help. And one more thing, they set up automated emails for cart abandoners. A simple reminder email, sometimes with a small discount, sent a day or so after someone left items in their cart. That gentle nudge.
Okay, that sounds like a really targeted approach based on the data. What happened? What were the results?
The results were actually pretty impressive and relatively quick. Within about 3 months of implementing these changes, their overall conversion rate climbed from that sluggish 2% up to 4.5%. So right into the healthy industry average range. More than double the conversions from the same traffic. Cart abandonment, that dropped by 25%. Huge improvement. And their mobile conversion rate, which had been particularly bad, saw a 30% jump. It's a great example because it shows that by methodically identifying those specific friction points using data and user feedback, and then addressing them directly, you can see really tangible, significant improvements. It wasn't about a massive site overhaul. It was about fixing specific, critical steps in the journey.
That's fantastic. A 2% to 4.5% conversion rate jump is huge for any business.
Yeah.
Okay, so for listeners who feel like they've maybe got the basics down or they're ready to push things further, what comes next? Are there more advanced techniques for CCR optimization? Is CCR really the only metric they should be laser focused on for overall business health?
Great questions. Yes, there are definitely more advanced techniques for folks ready to level up. We're starting to see a lot more use of AI-powered personalization. Think systems that dynamically change website content or offers in real time based on an individual user's behavior. Hyper-personalization. Predictive analytics is another area. Using data to predict which users are most likely to convert, and then maybe targeting them with specific offers or interventions. Behavioral triggers are becoming more sophisticated too. So setting up automated actions based on what a user does, like showing a specific pop-up if they signal they're about to leave the site, that's called exit intent, or sending a targeted message if they linger on a certain page. Optimizing for voice search is also emerging. As more people use voice assistants to shop or research, making sure your content and product are discoverable that way is important. And integrating smart chatbots, often AI-powered, can also help. They can answer questions instantly, guide users through complex processes, and overcome objections in real time, further reducing friction. Now, for your second question, is CCR the only metric? Absolutely not. It's incredibly important, vital even, but it's not the whole story of business health. You need to look at it alongside other key metrics for a truly holistic picture. Think about customer lifetime value, or CLV. This tells you the total amount of revenue you can expect from a single customer over the entire course of their relationship with you. You could have a decent CCR, but if customers buy once and never come back, your CLV might be really low. That's a problem.
Right. You want repeat business too.
Exactly. Then there's churn rate, especially crucial for subscription businesses. This measures the percentage of customers who stop using your service or product over a certain period. High churn can completely undermine a good conversion rate. You're just filling a leaky bucket faster. Also important is average order value, or AOV. How much does the average customer spend per transaction? You could increase revenue by getting people to buy more each time, even if the conversion rate stays the same. And finally, something like the Net Promoter Score, NPS. This measures overall customer satisfaction and loyalty. How likely are they to recommend you to others? Happy, loyal customers who convert and stick around and recommend you. That's the goal. So yeah, CCR is critical for understanding the efficiency of your funnel, but you need these other metrics alongside it to see the full picture of sustainable growth and customer health.
That's a perfect way to frame it. It's a vital piece, but part of a larger puzzle.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. We've really unpacked customer conversion rate, what it is, why it's so critical, uncovered those silent saboteurs that can hurt it, and hopefully given you a whole toolkit of actionable strategies you can use to improve it. Ultimately, it seems like really understanding and optimizing your CCR is just fundamental. It's about turning those casual visitors into loyal customers and really making sure every investment you make in marketing, in your product, in your platform pays off as much as possible.
Couldn't agree more. And maybe the key takeaway is that conversion optimization, it's not really a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process. It's a journey. The digital world keeps changing, user expectations evolve, so you got to keep analyzing, keep testing, keep iterating. That's how you stay ahead and keep improving.
Absolutely. So let's leave you with a final thought to chew on. We heard that just a 1-second delay in page load could cost you 7% of potential customers. 7%. So the question for you is, what unseen friction points might be quietly diminishing your own opportunities right now? And what small change, maybe something simple you could discover just by watching, listening, and testing, what small change could unlock a whole new wave of growth for your business? Think about